That's Sooty.
Yep.
That is Freya.
Freya.
That is Abigail. And this little red-headed one is Junior. And if you're going to eat your animals, you don't name them. So we're not eating them.
Archie. Look at that mug.
Does he look? Yeah, he's
Little
Look
boy.
at that mug.
He's a little boy.
Look at that.
He's very little boy.
Don't you stand on my foot. Arch.
This is okay.
Arch.
Baza, here. Here you go, bud. You guys, out. Out. Stay. You're a good girl. Stay. You're a good boy. Stay. Good girl. Stay. Boo. Good boy. Sit. Stay. Okay. Sophie, sit. Okay. Okay, Tink. You. Tink, sit. Sit. Okay. And Rose, and sit. Okay. Good girls. Good boys. Yeah, I mean, that sawmill is a full-on sawmill.
Yeah.
And all of the lumber for this house. Now, the first house we get is their guest house.
Bear, what's the first thing you remember from you and I growing up? What's your first memory?
That's a tough one. I just looked up to you. I remember that I looked up to you because you were the crossing guard at
49 school?
Yeah, at 49.
I don't
And
remember.
I used to think, God, my brother, he's like like you were law enforcement or something.
Really? Yeah, that's my
and
little...
I just really looked up to you about that.
I don't remember that. I
and,
don't remember that.
Yeah, with your little thing and making everybody stay and walk out. And, yeah, it was funny.
He's there, Pep.
Pepper, easy, buddy.
Just-
Watch it.
Can you remember some funny time with you and John and I? It doesn't have to be funny for all of us. It could just be funny for you.
Well, of course, I can never forget the one where you and John and me, and we had just had lunch, and we were the only ones home. You guys were actually watching me. Mom was gone, and you were holding me down and had those milk spits, and you were on top of me and you'd let the milk spit come out and hang right in front of my face, and you'd suck it back in.
I don't remember that.
And I'm going, no, let me alone. And you're like, ha, 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 and you just let it go down, and suck it back in. And,
Was that me or
that
John?
was you.
Oh my
But
God.
John was back there laughing too.
Of course. Well, yeah, that figures. That figures.
And I remembered, I can remember it like it was yesterday, that I'm saying, you know what, you think it's funny now, but you're older than I am, and that's why it's funny to you now. But when we get older, you're going to be the old man, and I'm going to kick your butt. So get ready.
Tell me about memories you had with some of your buddies from the neighborhood. Some of your friends, doesn't matter who. Just,
Well, I think it's funny. Mike Oliver,
oh yeah,
and that one. What was I, like 4? When their German Shepherd ran me down, knocked me over, and bit me in front of our house.
I forgot about that.
And I mean, I remember it. It's traumatic, but it didn't scare me about dogs. It's like I didn't. It was just what happened between me and that dog in my brain at 4 years old.
Now they had 2 German Shepherds, as I remember.
They had one at first, and then they got the second
Yeah,
one. He was
yeah,
the bigger one.
Look out! Look out!
Hey, Pepper, get out of here. Go. And he was the bigger one. He's the one who went through the window after the mailman or something.
Yeah,
Went
I
through the
remember
big
that. I'd
front
forgotten
window.
about that. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be nice, having a 100-pound German Shepherd coming at you through broken glass. But, you know, I don't know, just, the bike races.
Oh yeah.
The
Yeah.
figure 8 bike races on our street. I loved that.
So
when I
you
was
raced in those? I remember John and I doing
Well,
it.
you guys did, but then as I got older, you know, because we did it every summer,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, and we had them all
Yeah.
the time. And then I started getting into them. And then I just remember Mike Oliver's legs going so fast on a bicycle, and he was beating everybody. His legs look like pistons. They're like... I used to think, how's he doing that?
I remember George Wegman and John and I used to do it. Actually, right up, we might have even done it after we were racing go-karts. We'd do bike races
Yeah,
around.
yeah.
Around the
Well, it
circle.
was a big thing.
Yeah.
I mean, remember, a lot of the neighbors would come out. And,
Yeah, yeah,
and the
yeah,
kids and
yeah.
everybody were out there, and
And
we had the flags.
Yep.
You know, we
And
had
we
all
used-
the flags.
Yeah, Mom she sewed the flags for us.
Oh,
I
did
think.
she?
Yeah, because the checkered flag was made up of squares of,
Oh, okay.
of
Yeah.
material.
Yeah. But
But,
yeah, that was.
I also remember that by Schnacky's house, which was the sharp turn at the end of the lower circle on our street, we used to have to sweep the dirt off because dirt would come down off the circle itself into the road, and that dust would make it slippery. And I can remember wiping out and scratching my knees on that a few times. Okay, tell me about any experiences with neighborhood kids and your experience with, or you're working with animals, and when you started doing taxidermy, which
Oh,
you got
yeah.
to really enjoy. I remember you
That-
wearing coyote eyes. It scared the crap out of somebody. I think it was a girlfriend. You put coyote eyes in your eyes, and
I've done that since then too.
that's comedy.
Coyote eyes are good
that's
for that.
comedy gold. So tell me about your experiences with the neighborhood kids, and you're either freaking them out with animals or
Well,
something.
yeah. See, maybe that was a little bit of my love for learning taxidermy. I just liked seeing stuff that people have done, and I would with nature, like for artists. In other words, like being an artist. The thing I can remember that made me want to do it was Don had drawn a charcoal picture of a English setter that was on a point, and I remember seeing it, going, "This is really, you know, this is a really nice picture." And Mom going, "Oh, your brother Don did that," and it just amazed me. It made me want to do that. And
Don did that?
That's what she told me. Yeah, she said your brother Don did
Boy,
that.
I don't remember that.
And
That's like,
do you remember the little picture? It was
No.
in a frame, and it was
No.
just it was only a
No.
little paper drawing,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But it was really nice, but yeah, that's what made me do that. And anything where there was animals involved like that in taxidermy, I used to just be fascinated to go and see somebody's deer head on the wall or whatever it was. And again, being the way I am, I want to learn how to do that. And then I saw that taxidermy course in I think it was in one of them hunting magazines, like
Yeah.
Sports Afield or something like that.
Did you take a course or did you just get all the tools?
No, it was a course. It wasn't like a course where you had to pass a test.
Yeah.
They just you pay them some money, and they send you every month. They would send me a new pamphlet.
Oh, okay.
The first one started out with the basics, which was skinning a bird,
Yeah.
and also skinning a squirrel. That was the first basic. They didn't teach you anything other than that.
You stuff a squirrel?
I have stuffed a squirrel.
Really? But when you were home, when you were in Cimarron Drive?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. Do you remember the Vole that I put the sparrow wings on his back?
No.
It was a stuffed vole, but he had sparrow wings coming out of his
No,
back.
no. A hybrid.
Yeah, it was like a mouse Pegasus.
A flying vole. I don't remember
And,
that.
how about the possum? You remember the possum that I did?
No.
And
I don't know whether they're black.
remember the pheasant that I stuffed?
Yes, yes.
And I had it for a couple years, and I noticed it was getting kind of dusty, and the eyes were a little. And I polished the eyes up with a little, rag and some Windex, and dusted them off, and I put them out in the sun in the backyard. And I go walking back out about an hour later, and the neighbor cat is on the pheasant's back, chewing the head. The head's popped out, and he's like, I'm like, God damn it. It was pretty funny. And the pheasant's all, its head's. But that taught me, don't leave your taxidermy unattended outside.
Okay, tell me this story. Did any of your buddies ever come over when you had stuffed animals around and either didn't know what they were or
Yeah, there was one. Oh, Bobby Law came over right when I first started doing taxidermy. I had just stuffed my first bird, which was an English sparrow.
Yeah.
And I had him come in my room, and he looked over at the bird, and I go, oh, and he's like, whoa, that bird. And I go, oh, that's a bird I just tamed. That was the extent of that. It tickled me pink,
But then after that, there was a story after that of him coming in your room and seeing a bird on the
Oh, the dove.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I told him it was stuffed. He went to touch it. Poor Bobby Law. That poor kid went through a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
That was, well, one thing I remember is sneaking into the welfare building while it was under construction. On Westfall Road.
111 Westfall.
And we were way up on top there, and he goes, I gotta go home. And I go, well, all right. I go, I want you to watch this brick when I throw it down there. So when you get down there, watch it, and I don't know, 10, 12 years old.
Yeah, that was 13 stories or 11 stories or something.
Yeah,
like
something
that.
like that.
Yeah.
And so I'm waiting for him. He's not coming out. And I really wanted to throw this brick at this thing down there. And I'm waiting, and I'm thinking, well, you know what? I think he just probably went home. And so I aimed for that thing out there, and I threw the brick, and I'm watching it sail through the air. And I look down, and I see Bobby Law running out of the thing, and my brain's doing the calculations, and it's like, whoa, and he stops, turns around and looks, and the brick goes wham and hits the ground right in front of him. I'm like, oh my God. But that place was a fun place for kids. Danger.
Yeah.
Danger. Did all sorts of stuff in that place. Threw the dummy off of there.
Oh
We
yeah.
threw a dummy off
Yeah,
there into
yeah.
Westfall Road one time.
Yep.
Cracked up.
Well, you remember what we did? Do you remember? Were you involved with the dummy? Yeah, it was you and me, I think, that made the dummy. You know, with the rimless hat.
Yeah.
And then threw him in front of cars on Halloween on Cimarron Drive.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. Or the coons, my favorite one, the coonskin cap, and at night, me and the kids, everybody, we would sit in a bush, and the coonskin caps on the other side of the road with fishing line coming across the road, and when the car would come by, we'd pull across the road, or people would speed up.
Roadkill.
Tink, I could take her out. I could take little Tink out there. She wouldn't chase the chicken. She wouldn't chase the sheep. But the sheep would see her and chase her down and trample her, or try to. And it's because they can tell she's a predator, even though she's a little tiny dog.
Right.
And predators just move like predators, and prey animals can see that. And like with humans, when you get up and you start walking towards a horse face first, you're in predator mode. You're stalking, and that's what the horse thinks. So what you do, instead of walking towards a horse, you turn around and walk backwards to him, and you can walk right up to him.
No kidding.
And then you just put your hand out, turn sideways, put your hand out, and they'll sniff your hand, or do whatever they can.
Because they can't see your face, right?
Right.
Is it eye contact for horses too?
Yeah, you're not in stalk mode.
Yeah.
It's like so many things have to match the pictures of what makes a stalk, and walking straight towards them. The way we walk like predators.
Yeah.
We are predators.
Yeah.
And prey animals can tell that. And sheep, the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Walk backwards to them, not a problem.
And you fall over and break your back.
Right. And like poor Baza, we're out there with the horses, and there's two horses, little Chip, and Olio. And Olio's the mom, and she's a little bigger. She's a bigger pony, but Baza's standing out there, and Baza's really good. He listens to me, but the horse stuck its nose down. I go, "Oh, Baza, he's saying hi." She's saying hi to you, and she sticks her nose, touches his nose, and he goes, "Arr!" Bites her, nips her nose, because he's a cattle dog.
Yeah.
And she draws back, and her ears like go back against her head, and she's, and so I go, "Baza, that was bad," and I get him over here, and then she's standing out there, and I'm doing something with the wire out there. Oh, it was when I had the beehive out there, and then all of a sudden I hear this. I turn around. Baza's on his back on the ground, and she's stomping him, kicking him and stomping him right on top, and I slap her on the butt, and she runs out of the way, and he gets up like, "I'm okay, I'm all right." She's like, "I'm okay, I'm just gonna go over here and sit down. I'm okay."
But she was stomping him because he bit her on the nose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she was mad at him. She
Yeah.
was pissed
Yeah.
that he bit her. And he did rake a little. It wasn't bleeding, but you could see red. And he's like, "Oh, okay." And she actually went towards him again, and I just pushed her away, and then scared her away.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
she stayed away. But he just kept sitting there, and then finally he laid down there and just looked at me like, "I'm okay. I'm okay."
So tell me a dog story. It can be from when you were older or when you were younger. It doesn't matter what the time is, but just tell us when this dog story was.
So this was actually right when Dotti and I got together. What was that? 82 or 83, I think. Anyhow, we were working at Shadowbrook, and we were living in Capitola by the Shadowbrook and Shadowbrook restaurant. And I would walk my dog along the river that was there. And my dog was Pirate, golden retriever.
Yeah.
One of the best dogs I've ever had. I give Pirate a command, he did it
Yeah.
immediately. And I could have him stay somewhere and walk away for an hour and come back and he's still there.
Oh man.
He was an amazing dog. And so we're under the trestle, the railroad trestle of the river that we lived by. And I was throwing a ball for him, and here comes some lady with her pit bull. And he's off the leash. Yeah, it's a peeper. And he's off the leash, and he sees Pirate, and Pirate sees him, and they're like doing that slow stalk, and I go, Pirate, and he stops, and the dog slowly, stiffly walks up to him. Bad scenario. The dog attacks him, and they get in a fight, and I yell at Pirate, and Pirate's defending himself really well. He's so committed to doing what I said. He stopped, and that dog just grabbed him bad,
Yeah.
and bit his leg really bad. And now he's yelping, and the woman's there, and I'm standing there, and it's like really weird, and it's like I'm standing there, and she goes, grab his paws, and I'm like, and I remember, I flash in my brain to this old biker guy one time going, yeah, the only way to stop a pit bull is you grab him by the balls and squeeze. And I'm like, all right, and bam, I grab this pit bull by the nuts, and I just, like that, and nothing happens. And I look at her, and the woman's looking at me, she goes, no, I said grab his paws. I'm like, oh, and I grabbed his paws and picked him up, let go of my dog. And then I was like, oh, okay. She's like, yeah, I won't get out of here.
Oh, come on, I shouldn't be laughing. I'm Mike Wallace. I shouldn't be laughing like that.
Look at poor Sheldon out there.
Where is he?
He's out there. He won't come in because he's afraid of Gustavo. Baza, none of your business. Stay.